What's up guys, Sharon here. Today I'm going to be talking about a topic that I don't see talked about much, but I think is really important for junglers who are trying to climb and carry the game. And that's going to be the topic of AP junglers and why I think they're so much better than AD junglers right now for carrying the game in SoloQ and climbing. If you want control of the game, I think AP junglers are just way superior than AD junglers. Why is this? Well, let's go over the first thing. Let's look at jungle items right now. So, you have here the items you want to buy for an AP jungler, right? Magi's, like hopefully. You've got Runic Echoes. And if you compare the two items, well, one, Magi's cannot be compared because there's no Sword of the Occult anymore for all the OG players out there. And then you have Runic Echoes compared to Warrior. And Warrior offers what? 80 and 10 CDR. Runic Echoes offers 80 AP, 10 CDR, and mana reset when you proc your Runic Echoes. And you can move around and you get the Runic Echoes proc reset. If you use abilities and you move around. And that is a big difference. Being able to proc your Runic Echoes like 2 or 3 times, like for example me, hitting Dragon, hitting Wraiths, whatever it is, I'm gonna proc it like 2 or 3 times. And the Warrior champion is gonna proc it what? Like, proc nothing. He doesn't have a proc. He's just getting flat AD and 10 CDR. And that is a big difference in clear speed. So, I would say one of the biggest reasons my struggle with AD junglers right now and why AP junglers are so much superior is because AD junglers literally get worse stats, I think, and they are stronger early game, but every AD champion falls off. The only exception is like maybe Graves, but even then he's only strong if he's fed, right? He's not really snowballing. He's gonna get outscaled as well. So that is a big aspect of why I think I favor AP junglers so much more in solo queue than AD junglers. Have you ever had that game, you're playing Lee Sin, you're playing Olaf, and you're like 5-0, and you just lose the game? That is like the most frustrating thing ever, when their AD carry is like 5-0 as well, but you can't do anything, because your champion is just not going to one-shot that guy. And you need to dive on her to kill her, right? And if your teammates are useless, which happens 50% of the time, then that's, you know, not helpful when you're forced to dive on the enemy backline. Whereas every AP jungler you play, Karthus, Echo, Nidalee, these champions do not need to dive in. Like, you could even say like Lilia right now, right? She's one of the more popular picks too. Like, they don't need to go in and sacrifice themselves to like one-shot the backline. They can kill frontline and they can one-shot backline. And that's going to be another that's going to lead into the next thing, is Magi's. Magi's, it doesn't have an opposite, right? There's no Sword of the Occult anymore where AD champs can buy an item and gets free AP, AD and stacks. Whereas, you know, AP champs, they have Dark Seal. You can buy it after your Runic Echoes and you get massive stacks. And that's just amazing. Like, you can get free AP, but the most important part is you get free movement speed after 10 stacks. So now you snowball even harder. You can chase people down, you can run away, you're more slippery. That's like a huge component to why, like, you just take over the game. When you're Echo, when you're Karthus, when you're Nidalee, and you just have 10 stacks of Magi's, it's like you are on steroids. Like, you took the limitless pill, man. Those are two biggest reasons, but you can keep going, because there's more AP jungle items that I think are just better than AD jungle items. Like, for example, when you think about Graves, when you think about Lee Sin, Rek'Sai, what are they building? They have to build either Black Cleaver or they have to go lethality. And a lot of these junglers cannot go lethality. Because, why? Because they have to dive in, and if they do, they get one shot. And lethality is like super just, it's not overrated, but it's like you're buying full damage and you're relying on the fact that you need to dive in and you're relying on the enemy mistakes. Whereas AP junglers, they're mostly ranged and you don't need to rely on enemies' mistakes because you kind of create them. You don't need to dive in. You just play to your range. Whereas Rek'Sai, Lee Sin, Graves, they sort of have to just dive in because they're not going to do any damage to tanks, or they not going to do that much damage like without one-shotting people. So that is one huge aspect. And then we're going to talk about Black Lead. I mean, this item's just, it's not trash, but it's like, do you feel good when you're 5-0 and then you're like, yeah, I'm going to buy a Ruby Crystal. Then I'm going to buy Phage. Yeah, I'm going to buy a Kindle Gem now to further snowball. Like with Rek'Sai, yeah, I'm going to get Black Cleave. I'm going to be so strong with this Black Cleave. No, man. Like, compared to AP junglers, like Echo, you can build Protobelt, Lichbane, Zhonya's, nearly can build Athene's, Rod of Ages, like all these sick items that are going to help her proc her Ludens more and more with movement speed, CDR, and like Rabadons, like come on. You can't build a fucking Infinity Edge on an 80 jungler, so a lot of it has to do with itemization and a lot of it has to do with runic echoes, Magi's, like Sork boots. There's no like lethality boots for 80 junglers, you know. So that sums it up, guys. So my advice, guys, if you want to climb in SoloQ, man, you got to be playing AP junglers right now, because 80 junglers are like really, I think, neglected in terms of items, in terms of like a lot of these 80 junglers don't clear that well. If you think about all the 80 junglers right now, Graves is probably like one of the best 80 junglers right now, but he doesn't even clear well. Like, he only clears healthily, but he clears very slowly if you're looking to full clear. So that's another topic to get into, but yeah. That is why you see me only playing AP junglers and why I feel like I have a lot of success with it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.